Eli had always liked quiet moments, even if they were rare. The bustling spaceport of Nova Terra was rarely quiet, filled with ships landing and taking off, merchants shouting prices, and travelers from all corners of the galaxy rushing to their destinations. Eli, a young engineer working on the station's repair docks, often found solace in the cafeteria, a small corner where he could sit, eat, and watch the chaos without joining it. That afternoon, Eli had packed a simple meal, 2 sandwiches, an apple, and a small container of water. He had been working extra hours, fixing minor engine malfunctions on a freighter, and now he just wanted to sit, eat, and relax. As he took a bite of his sandwich, a sudden commotion near the station entrance caught his attention. A group of beings unlike any he had seen before had just arrived. Their clothing shimmered in colors humans rarely saw, and their shapes were elegant and elongated. People stepped aside in awe and a little fear. These were not everyday visitors. They were dignitaries, representatives from a distant star system. Eli tried to focus on his food, but then he noticed something odd. One of the aliens seemed out of place, separated slightly from the others. She moved gracefully, yet there was a subtle tension in her posture, as if she were wary or tired. Her skin had a soft blue shimmer, her eyes were large and expressive, and her voice, though she didn't speak, seemed to radiate curiosity. Without thinking, Eli tore his sandwich in half and walked toward her. The station was crowded, but he felt a strange pull, a sense that he should do something kind. "Excuse me," he said, holding out half of his sandwich. "I thought you might be hungry." The alien paused, tilting her head in curiosity. Then she moved closer and almost silently took a seat beside him. No one else seemed to notice, or perhaps they assumed she was part of the crowd. Eli's heart raced. "You're different," she whispered, her voice soft and musical. Eli blinked. "Different? Me? How do you mean?" She didn't answer immediately. She just took a small bite of the sandwich and seemed to study him carefully, as if trying to understand the strange human sitting beside her. "I've observed many beings," she finally said. "Most are careful, cautious, polite. But you act without thinking of reward. You share. You trust." Eli chuckled nervously. "I guess I just didn't want you to go hungry." He waved his remaining half of the sandwich. "It's nothing special." "No," she replied softly. "It is very special. Your people are unusual. Your kindness, it is rare." Eli swallowed, unsure how to respond. He had never considered that simple acts like sharing food could be extraordinary. To him, it was normal. But judging by the way she looked at him, it clearly was not normal here. The station's noise continued around them, but for a moment, it felt like they were the only two in the room. Eli noticed details he had never seen before. The way her eyes reflected the overhead lights, the faint pattern of markings along her skin, and the small, elegant jewelry that seemed both functional and decorative. She carried herself with dignity, yet there was something vulnerable in the way she leaned slightly forward, accepting his gesture. "You are a human?" she asked. "Yes," Eli said. "I'm Eli. I work in the repair docks." "I am Liara," she said, almost shyly. "I come from Celestara." Eli tried to picture the name. Celestara. He had read about distant systems in the news, but he had never imagined meeting someone from a royal family there. Somehow he felt he should not show his surprise, though it was difficult. "Royal family?" he asked cautiously. Liara nodded slightly, but her expression remained calm. "Yes, but right now, I'm just tired, hungry. I needed a moment." Eli offered her water from his small container. She took it gracefully, and he watched as she drank slowly. The simple act felt intimate, a shared pause amid the chaos of the spaceport. Then, without warning, alarms rang throughout the station. Security forces were moving quickly, surrounding her entourage. Eli's stomach sank. He didn't understand everything that was happening, but he knew one thing. Liara was in danger. "Not from him, but from the panic and confusion of the crowd. Stay calm," he whispered. "We need to get out of here." Liara's eyes widened slightly, but she trusted him. Eli had no special training in dealing with alien security, but he did know the station well. He led her through narrow service corridors, dodging bustling travelers and hovering carts. She followed silently, her presence calm but alert. Finally, they reached a quiet maintenance area, a small room filled with tools, spare parts, and the faint smell of machine oil. Eli leaned against a workbench, catching his breath. You helped me, Liara said softly. You didn't even know who I was, you just helped. Eli shrugged, trying to sound casual. I didn't think, I just saw someone who looked like they needed a meal. That's it. Liara studied him for a moment, then smiled faintly. Humans are unpredictable, and sometimes admirable. You remind me why my people watch yours so closely. Eli blinked. Watch us? Why? Liara's gaze turned distant as if she were thinking of a faraway place. Your people, your kind, are capable of things no one expects. Courage, empathy, creativity. You act without fear, without calculation, in ways many cannot. You are different. That is rare in the galaxy. Eli felt a strange mixture of pride and confusion. He had never thought of humans as exceptional. To him, they were ordinary, messy, and stubborn, but also capable of surprising kindness. Hearing it from her, someone from another world felt powerful. For a while they sat in silence. Eli offered the rest of his sandwich, but Liara shook her head. This is enough, she said. More than enough. As the alarms outside quieted and security began to disperse, Liara looked at him seriously. You have potential, Eli. I do not know what it means yet. But you could change things, perhaps even more than you realize. Eli laughed nervously. I just shared my lunch. That's not exactly world-changing. She tilted her head, smiling slightly. Sometimes, small things change everything. The sound of footsteps outside reminded them that the station was returning to normal, yet the moment between them remained. Eli realized that what had begun as a simple act, sharing half his meal, had led to something far greater. He had made a connection, one that crossed species, culture, and expectation. Liara finally stood, brushing herself lightly. I must return to my people, but remember this, Eli. You are different. That is valuable. With that, she walked back toward her entourage. Eli watched her leave, a strange warmth filling him. He returned to his seat in the cafeteria, now empty, and looked at the half-eaten sandwich. Somehow it felt like more than just food. It felt like a beginning. Eli didn't know what the future held, but he felt a spark of something extraordinary. In a galaxy filled with rules, power struggles, and alien politics, a simple act of kindness had carved a small, shining space for humanity, and for him. And somewhere in the stars, he knew, Liara would remember the human who had shared his meal. The day after the spaceport encounter, Eli could not stop thinking about Liara. The memory of her soft blue eyes, the gentle tilt of her head, and the whispered words, "You're different," stayed with him. He went about his work at the repair docks, fixing engines and recalibrating circuits, but his mind kept drifting back to that strange, beautiful moment. He wondered about her people, the Celestarians. Their ships gleamed like floating jewels in the sky. Their manners, their elegance, and the faint aura of mystery around Liara had left him both fascinated and nervous. It was as if a door had opened into a part of the galaxy he had only read about in news reports and stories. As he wiped his hands on a rag, a small notification blinked on his personal communicator. It was a message from an unknown source, but the language and symbols were clear enough for him to read. Eli, I wish to speak. Meet me at Dock 9, alone. Eli's heart raced. It was her. There was no question. The boldness of the message, the simplicity, and the familiarity of her presence made him both excited and anxious. He took a deep breath, cleaned his tools, and hurried to Dock 9. The dock was quiet, with only a few cargo crates stacked along the walls. Ships hummed softly in the distance, but otherwise the place seemed almost empty. Eli scanned the area, and there, leaning casually against a sleek silver ship, was Liara. She looked different up close. Her blue shimmer seemed to pulse slightly in the soft light of the docking bay, and her eyes held a curiosity that made Eli feel like she was looking straight into his thoughts. Hello, Eli said, approaching cautiously. Hello, Eli, Liara replied, her voice calm yet filled with warmth. I am glad you came. He smiled nervously. I wasn't sure. I didn't know if it was safe. Liara's smile widened just a little. You are cautious. I like that. But sometimes, caution can be set aside for curiosity, and curiosity can reveal much about a person. Eli felt a blush rise to his cheeks. I guess I'm curious. Good, she said, stepping closer. Curiosity is a valuable human trait. It allows you to learn, to adapt, to survive. Eli nodded, unsure how to respond. The way she spoke made him feel like he was part of something bigger than himself, something important. He had always considered himself ordinary, just a repair engineer trying to make ends meet. But now he wondered if there was more to him than he had realized. "Come," Liara said suddenly, motioning toward the ship she had been leaning against. "I wish to show you something." Eli hesitated. "Your ship?" "Yes, but not just my ship. Something about your people. Something important." The ship was unlike anything Eli had ever seen. Its surface gleamed with a metallic sheen that seemed to shift colors depending on the angle of the light. The interior was even more astonishing. Soft glowing panels lined the walls and small floating drones moved silently, scanning every surface. "Wow," Eli whispered. "This is incredible." Liara smiled softly. "It is our way. Our technology is advanced, yes, but it is also careful, thoughtful, efficient. I wish to show you not just what we build, but how we think." Eli followed her as she guided him to a small viewing chamber. Through a wide, transparent window they could see the stars, bright and endless. Beyond the window, alien ships of various shapes moved gracefully through space. The galaxy was alive in ways Eli had only imagined. "You see," Liara said, "many beings in the galaxy focus on power, on control, on conquest. But humans, your kind, is different. You do not always seek power. You seek solutions. You help others. You share, without expectation, that is, rare." Eli felt a lump in his throat. I just do what I think is right." Liara turned to him, her eyes serious but kind. "And that is why you are different. You act with empathy, Eli. You act with courage, sometimes without realizing it. Many species would never do what you did. Sharing your meal, helping me, trusting a stranger. But humans have potential. Potential to be leaders in ways the galaxy has never seen." Eli shook his head slightly, trying to process her words. "I don't know if I'm that special." Liara reached out, gently touching his arm. The touch was light, not intrusive, but it carried an unmistakable warmth. "It is not about being special. It is about being human, and humanity is remarkable. You do not see it in yourselves, but others do." For a moment they stood in silence, the stars glittering beyond the glass, the hum of the ship filling the quiet space. Eli realized he had never felt so small and so important at the same time. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of wonders, and here he was, a human, being recognized for something that came naturally to him. Kindness, courage, and curiosity. Liara led him back to the main deck. "I have a proposition," she said, her eyes glinting with purpose. "Your people, your humanity, can teach my people something, and perhaps we can teach you something as well." "What do you mean?" Eli asked. Liara's expression became thoughtful. "I am here to observe, to learn, to understand humans. But you have shown me something new. You have shown me that humans can act with honesty and empathy in ways we could not predict. I wish to study this further, to learn from you." Eli felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Study me?" "Yes," Liara said softly, "but not like an experiment. Like understanding, like friendship. Your people, your perspective, can help us avoid mistakes, help us understand what truly matters. And in turn, I can show you the galaxy, its wonders, its cultures, its mysteries. You can see how others live, how others think. Perhaps it will help your people too." Eli's mind raced. The idea of seeing alien worlds, meeting other species, learning from them, it was thrilling. And yet it was also frightening. He had never left Nova Terra, never flown among the stars in this way. And now an alien princess was inviting him on a journey he had never imagined. He took a deep breath. I think I would like that. I want to learn, and I want to help if I can." Liara's eyes softened. "Then we begin. But first, you must trust. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts, and trust that small acts can have great consequences." Eli nodded. He felt a strange mixture of fear and excitement. For the first time he realized that his life could be more than ordinary. That his choices, his humanity, could have an impact far beyond what he had imagined. They spent the rest of the day talking. Liara shared stories of Celestara, of her people, and of the vast responsibilities she carried as a member of her royal family. Eli shared his own stories, the small victories and struggles of life on Nova Terra, and the moments when humans had shown courage in unexpected ways. Through their conversation, Eli began to see the galaxy differently. He realized that humans were not the strongest or the most technologically advanced species, but their courage, empathy, and creativity could make a difference. And Liara. Liara was not just a princess. She was a bridge between worlds, someone who could see potential where others saw only limitations. As the stars darkened into night outside the viewing window, Eli felt a sense of hope. A small act of kindness, a shared sandwich, had led him here to this moment, with an alien princess who saw something extraordinary in him, and he understood deep down that this was only the beginning. The stars outside the viewing window blurred into streaks of light as the ship accelerated into faster-than-light travel. Eli gripped the edge of his seat, feeling both excitement and nervousness swirl inside him. He had never imagined leaving Nova Terra, let alone traveling across the galaxy with an alien princess, and yet here he was, strapped into a sleek silver ship, watching a universe he had only dreamed of unfold around him. Liara sat beside him, calm and composed, her blue shimmer soft in the ambient light of the cabin. "Do not be afraid, Eli," she said gently. "The journey may be long, but you will see things few humans have seen. And you will learn." Eli nodded, though his mind was racing. "I just hope I don't mess anything up. I'm not exactly trained for interstellar travel." Liara tilted her head, smiling faintly. "Training can be learned. Humanity, one cannot. Your instincts, your empathy, your ability to act without fear, that is rare. That is why I brought you." He swallowed, feeling a strange mixture of pride and pressure. He wanted to live up to her words, to show that humans really could be exceptional in ways no one expected. The first few hours passed in quiet observation. Eli marveled at the technology surrounding him. Floating holographic displays, energy conduits that seemed alive, and small drones silently gliding through the cabin, performing tasks without attention. Liara explained each system carefully, but he realized that no amount of technology could replace human intuition, creativity, and quick thinking, qualities that she seemed to admire deeply. Eventually, Liara spoke. "We are approaching Celestara. It is my homeworld. You will see why my people value balance, beauty, and thoughtfulness, but you must also be careful. Not all who live there welcome outsiders." Eli nodded. "I understand. I'll follow your lead." As the ship descended through the upper atmosphere of Celestara, Eli gasped. The planet was unlike anything he had imagined. Vast forests shimmered with silver and emerald leaves. Rivers glowed faintly under the light of twin suns, and cities floated on platforms high above the ground, connected by bridges of sparkling energy. The Celestarians' technology blended seamlessly with nature, creating a world that felt alive, peaceful, and awe-inspiring. Liara guided the ship to a quiet landing bay, hidden among the treetops of a floating city. As they disembarked, Eli felt the soft pulse of energy beneath his feet. Celestara itself seemed conscious, aware, and welcoming. "You will notice differences," Liara said, walking beside him. "My people, we value order and thought, but we also respect kindness, courage, and honesty. Those qualities humans naturally possess, yet few among us do." Eli felt a surge of pride. He had always believed humans were ordinary, but hearing it from someone like Liara made him see his own species in a new light. Their first encounter with Celestarians was cautious. Eli noticed the elegant beings gliding past, their movements precise, their expressions curious but reserved. Many stared at him, whispering to each other. He realized that his human form, so simple, so unassuming, was unusual here. But Liara guided him with quiet confidence, and he followed her lead, letting his natural demeanor, friendly, honest and kind, shine. Soon they reached a large council chamber where advisors and officials awaited Liara's return. Eli felt nervous, unsure how he would be received. He was just a human. What could he offer to beings who had mastered technology far beyond anything on Nova Terra? Liara introduced him simply. "This is Eli. He is human, and he has qualities we admire: courage, empathy, and the ability to see clearly when others cannot." The officials studied him carefully. Some raised their eyebrows, skeptical. Others tilted their heads, curious. Eli bowed politely, trying to appear humble but confident. He realized quickly that despite their advanced technology and careful planning, these beings sometimes lacked the intuitive thinking humans took for granted. A problem soon arose. One of the city's energy platforms had begun to flicker and destabilize. The floating city relied on complex energy conduits, and any malfunction could cause serious damage. Liara's advisors debated solutions, presenting elaborate technical theories and simulations. None seemed to address the urgency effectively. Eli stepped forward. Maybe you could try rerouting the conduits manually, adjusting the flow step by step instead of relying entirely on automated systems, he suggested. It might stabilize the platform while you figure out a permanent solution. The room fell silent. Several Celestarians exchanged looks, clearly impressed that a human had noticed something they had overlooked. Liara smiled at him, her eyes bright with approval. Very well, she said. Eli, show us how it can be done. Using his human ingenuity and hands-on experience, Eli guided the engineers. He explained simple principles, encouraged small adjustments, and helped monitor the energy flow. Within minutes, the platform stabilized. The officials whispered among themselves, astonished that a human could make such a difference so quickly. Liara leaned close to him. See, your people, your perspective, is valuable. Even when technology surpasses humans, your intuition, adaptability, and willingness to act are remarkable. Eli smiled, feeling both relief and pride. He had never imagined that his everyday skills could impress a royal alien or save part of an advanced city. Yet here he was, a human making a real impact in a world far beyond his own. Over the next few days, Eli explored Celestara with Liara. They visited floating gardens, vast libraries of knowledge, and energy labs where Celestarians experimented with technology that seemed like magic to him. Everywhere he went, Eli observed and learned. And everywhere he went, his human qualities, curiosity, kindness, quick thinking, made an impression. One evening, while watching the twin suns set over a shimmering river, Liara spoke softly. Eli, I have watched many species across the galaxy. Some are clever, some are strong, some are fast. But your kind, humans, you have something rare. You adapt, you help. You act with morality and courage without always calculating the outcome. That is why I brought you here. Your people could be the bridge between worlds. Eli felt a lump in his throat. He had never thought of humans as extraordinary. Yet here, on this distant planet with an alien princess acknowledging his potential, he began to see the truth. Humans were capable of greatness not because of strength or technology, but because of their hearts and minds. Liara's hand brushed his briefly, a small gesture of reassurance. There will be challenges ahead, Eli. Not all will welcome your presence, not all will understand your choices. But remember, your humanity is your strength. It can inspire, it can heal, it can solve problems that technology alone cannot. He nodded, understanding that their journey was just beginning. Already he had faced new worlds, observed alien cultures, and contributed in ways he had never imagined. And he realized that his life, once ordinary, confined to the repair docks of Nova Terra, had transformed into something extraordinary. As night fell over Celestara, the twin moons reflecting on the glowing rivers below, Eli felt a sense of purpose he had never known. He was a human in a galaxy of advanced beings, yet his simple qualities, curiosity, courage, kindness, had made a difference. And he knew that with Liara by his side, there were still countless challenges, discoveries, and adventures awaiting him. This journey was not just about exploring distant worlds, it was about showing what humans could do, even in the most unexpected circumstances. It was about proving that small acts like sharing a meal or trusting instinct could ripple across galaxies and change outcomes in ways no one anticipated. Eli looked at Liara, her blue eyes reflecting the stars above, and realized something extraordinary. He had not just been brought to Celestara to observe or learn. He had been brought to show that humans, ordinary, messy, brave, kind humans, had a place among the stars, a place where their unique strengths could shine. And in that moment, Eli knew that his journey beyond Nova Terra had truly begun. The morning sun cast soft light across the floating city of Celestara, painting the rivers below in golden hues. Eli walked beside Liara, feeling a mixture of excitement and tension. He had been on the planet for several days now, observing, learning, and even contributing to minor repairs in the city's energy systems. But today felt different. Something in the air was heavy, as if the planet itself sensed a challenge approaching. Liara's expression was calm but serious. "Eli," she said softly, "you have learned much already, and you have shown us that humans can be extraordinary. But soon you will see a test. Not a test of strength or intelligence, but a test of character." Eli nodded. "I understand. But what kind of test?" Liara's eyes darkened slightly.
"There are those among my people who do not welcome outsiders."
"Some are suspicious, even fearful of humans. They may try to manipulate situations or provoke conflict. You must act carefully, yet act decisively. Trust your instincts. Trust your humanity." Before Eli could respond, the city's alarms began to ring, soft but urgent. Liara's advisors rushed in, their expressions tense. Eli followed them, noticing the quick, controlled movements of the Celestarians as they prepared for what appeared to be a serious situation. One of the advisors spoke quickly to Liara. "Princess, a rogue faction has taken control of one of the outer energy platforms. They are threatening to destabilize the city unless their demands are met." Liara's face remained calm, though Eli could sense her concern. "We cannot give in to threats. Our city, our people, cannot be compromised. We must resolve this with minimal conflict." Eli swallowed. He had expected wonders and learning, but now he faced a real crisis. A floating platform, unstable energy conduits, and beings who were prepared to act with force. All this could spiral into disaster. He took a deep breath, trying to focus. Liara turned to him. "Eli, your perspective, your way of thinking, can help. Watch carefully and act if you see an opening." They approached a holographic display showing the affected platform. It hovered above a glowing river, its supports flickering and trembling. The rogue faction had blocked standard access, and the Celestarians' advanced automated systems were unable to stabilize it from a distance. Several advisors offered complicated suggestions, proposing elaborate energy reroutes and defensive measures. Eli listened carefully, analyzing their plans. He noticed that while their ideas were technically correct, they relied heavily on assumptions and rigid procedures. A single unexpected variable could cause the platform to collapse. Eli raised his hand cautiously. "What if we approach this differently?" he asked. "Instead of relying entirely on automated systems or strict protocols, we combine both with real-time adjustments. I can manually monitor energy flows and guide the process. It will be slower but safer and more precise." The room fell silent. Liara studied him with quiet intensity, then nodded. "Very well. Eli, you lead this approach. We will assist you." Eli felt his pulse quicken. He had never guided alien technology before, yet he realized that his experience with human engineering principles, adaptation, quick problem-solving, and practical intuition could be valuable here. He quickly organized the team, explaining his plan. "First," Eli instructed, "we'll stabilize the main support conduits manually. Each adjustment must be small, measured, and coordinated. If anything goes wrong, we can reverse it immediately. Focus on accuracy, not speed." The team followed his directions. Eli monitored energy levels, made precise adjustments, and gave clear instructions. Slowly, the platform stabilized. The flickering diminished, the trembling ceased, and the outer sections held firm. The rogue faction observed, clearly surprised that the humans' unconventional approach was working. Liara watched him closely. "Your instincts. You're calm under pressure. This is why you are valuable, Eli. Many species would panic. Many would try to force a solution, but you act with logic, empathy, and courage." Just as the platform was secure, a message arrived from the rogue faction. They demanded the immediate removal of certain leaders from the council, or they would take more drastic action. Liara turned to Eli. "They are testing us. How would you respond?" Eli thought carefully. Violence could escalate the situation. Surrendering leadership would compromise the city. He needed a solution that preserved order and minimized harm. "Let's offer dialogue," he suggested. "We acknowledge their concerns but show them that the platform is stable and the city's systems are secure. If we demonstrate that escalation is unnecessary, they may reconsider." Liara nodded, impressed. "Proceed." Eli guided the council representatives to communicate with the rogue faction. He explained calmly and clearly that their demands were understood, but threats were unnecessary. He offered solutions and compromises, smaller adjustments to policies and shared responsibilities that addressed the faction's grievances without endangering the city. The rogue faction paused, their surprise evident. They had expected force, confrontation, or strict punishment, not negotiation and logic. Slowly, they agreed to stand down, impressed by the humans' clever reasoning and unshakable composure. Liara turned to Eli, her eyes filled with admiration. "You have done more than stabilize a platform. You have prevented conflict, saved lives, and maintained the integrity of my people. You are extraordinary." Eli shook his head, feeling both humility and pride. "I just did what I thought was right. I wanted to help, not make things worse." Liara smiled softly. "And that is why you are different. Humans, you act with conscience and courage. Even when you are unsure, you try to do the right thing. That is a quality many beings lack, even among the most advanced species." The council chamber erupted in quiet discussions, Celestarians praising the results and debating the implications of human ingenuity. Eli realized that his ordinary traits, curiosity, empathy, and practical thinking, were being recognized as extraordinary by an entire alien culture. Later, as the city settled into calm once more, Liara led Eli to a quiet observation deck overlooking the rivers and floating gardens. The twin moons cast a soft silver glow over the landscape, reflecting on the shimmering water below. "You see, Eli," she said, "your actions today have shown my people something remarkable. They have seen that humans can act decisively, with intelligence and empathy even under pressure. That is rare. That is why I brought you here. To show the galaxy that humanity is capable of more than it knows." Eli looked at her, feeling a mix of awe and determination. "I never thought I could make a difference like this. I just try to do the right thing," Liara nodded. "That is exactly why you do. You act not for recognition or reward, but because it is the right choice. That is humanity at its finest." Eli felt a surge of confidence. He had faced a real test, navigated a crisis, and helped preserve a city on a planet far beyond his own. And he realized something profound. Humans were capable of extraordinary things not because of technology or strength, but because of their hearts, their minds, and their willingness to act with courage and empathy. As he gazed at the twin moons, Eli knew that this was not the end. Challenges would come, bigger than this, more complex, more dangerous. But he also knew that with his humanity, his instincts, and the guidance of Liara, he could face them. The crisis had proven one thing: humanity could shine, even in the most alien of worlds, and even when the odds seemed impossible. And Eli felt a quiet pride in knowing that he had helped demonstrate that to an entire culture, showing that small acts of integrity, intelligence, and empathy could ripple into extraordinary outcomes. Liara's hand brushed his arm briefly, a gesture of reassurance and friendship. "You have done well today, Eli. Remember this moment. Remember what you are capable of. Humanity, your people, they can change the course of events in ways many cannot imagine. And today you proved it." Eli smiled, feeling warmth in his chest. He had faced the test, and he had passed, not through brute force or advanced technology, or cunning tactics, but through simple human qualities: courage, empathy, and moral clarity. And he knew, deep down, that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with challenges and mysteries, but with his humanity as his guide, Eli realized he could face anything, one decision, one action, one act of courage at a time, and somewhere in the stars, he knew Liara would remember the human who had not just shared a meal, but had shown the best of what humanity could offer in a moment of great trial. The twin suns of Calistara rose slowly over the floating city, bathing the rivers and gardens in golden light. The city was calm now, restored to its usual rhythm after the crisis with the rogue faction. Eli walked beside Liara along a high observation bridge, feeling a sense of peace he had rarely experienced. He had faced a real challenge, solved a major problem, and gained the respect of an entire alien culture, but now he also felt the weight of responsibility. Liara spoke softly, her voice full of calm confidence. "Eli, the events of yesterday showed my people the value of your humanity. Your courage, your empathy, your ability to act when others hesitate. All of it was extraordinary. But there is more to do. The galaxy is vast and humans can help in ways no one expects." Eli nodded. I never thought a human like me could make a difference in a world like this, but now, I see that we can." Liara smiled, her eyes reflecting the light of the rising suns. "It is not just you. It is all of humanity. Your people have something special, and with guidance, understanding, and courage, You can become a force for positive change across the stars. Eli took a deep breath, letting the warmth of her words settle in. He thought of the spaceport on Nova Terra, the simple cafeteria, and the moment he had shared his meal with her. That small, ordinary act had set everything into motion. It was strange to think that one choice, one act of kindness, had led to this extraordinary adventure. Their moment of reflection was interrupted by Liara's advisors, who approached with careful steps. Their expressions were respectful, but there was a note of urgency. "Princess Liara," one said, bowing slightly, "there are emissaries from neighboring systems awaiting your message. They have heard of the recent events and wish to discuss cooperation and alliance. They are curious about this human who helped resolve the crisis." Liara turned to Eli, her gaze warm. "It seems your reputation is spreading faster than you might expect." Eli laughed nervously. "I don't know if I deserve it, I just did what I thought was right." Liara placed a gentle hand on his arm. "And that is exactly why you do. Your actions are genuine, honest, and brave. That is more important than any title, rank, or technology." The advisors led them to a council chamber where emissaries from multiple star systems had gathered. The room was vast, lined with glowing panels and hovering holographic displays. Representatives of countless alien civilizations stood together, waiting to speak. Eli felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. This was a meeting that could shape interstellar relations, and he, a human, had been invited. Liara introduced him simply. "This is Eli. He is human. He has demonstrated qualities that we value greatly: courage, empathy, and the ability to act wisely under pressure. He reminds us of the potential of humanity." The emissaries studied him, their expressions ranging from curiosity to skepticism. Some whispered to one another, clearly intrigued. Eli straightened, remembering Liara's words. Act with courage, act with empathy, act honestly. He had done it before, and he could do it again. The discussions began. Several emissaries proposed alliances, trade agreements, and technology sharing. Many were impressed that humans, a species they had previously considered ordinary, had contributed to the resolution of a serious crisis on Celestara. Eli spoke carefully, emphasizing cooperation, fairness, and mutual benefit. He suggested ideas that were simple yet effective, ideas that balanced the needs of multiple species without compromising values. Slowly, the room's atmosphere changed. Curiosity turned to respect, skepticism to admiration. Aliens who had doubted humans began to see the potential of working with them. They began asking questions, listening to proposals, and considering collaboration in ways they had not imagined. Eli realized that his human perspective, practical, empathetic, and morally clear, was making a real difference. After the meeting, Liara led Eli to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. The rivers below shimmered like liquid light, and the floating gardens glowed softly in the evening air. "You have done more than I expected," Liara said softly. "Your actions today have strengthened trust, built understanding, and shown the galaxy that humans are remarkable." Eli shook his head, smiling. "I just tried to do the right thing. I didn't plan for all this." Liara's eyes sparkled. "That is why it is so powerful. Humans act with intention and heart, not calculation alone. That combination is rare and valuable. Your people can inspire, create, and lead in ways others cannot." Eli felt a quiet pride. For the first time, he saw humans not as ordinary beings, but as capable, remarkable, and essential players in a galaxy full of possibilities. It was a lesson he would carry forever. Later, as the city settled into night, Liara and Eli walked through the floating gardens. The air was filled with the faint glow of luminescent flowers, and the gentle hum of energy conduits created a peaceful harmony. "You have changed my people's view of humans," Liara said, "and perhaps you have changed my view as well. Humans are unpredictable, yes, but in ways that can be brilliant. You inspire hope, courage, and creativity. That is something the galaxy needs." Eli nodded, looking around at the beauty of the city. "I never imagined this. Meeting you, traveling here, helping your people. It's more than I could have dreamed. But I'm glad it happened, and I want to do more. Help, learn, and share what humans can offer." Liara smiled warmly. "Then we will continue. There are still challenges ahead, new worlds to see, new problems to solve. But now you understand humanity matters. Your people can make a difference, not through power alone, but through courage, empathy, and wisdom." Eli realized that the galaxy was full of unknowns, dangers, and wonders. But he also realized that humans, ordinary people with extraordinary hearts, could navigate this vast universe with integrity and creativity. He felt proud, not just of himself, but of humanity as a whole. In the weeks that followed, Eli continued to work alongside Liara and her advisors. They visited neighboring systems, established alliances, and solved problems that required both advanced technology and human ingenuity. Every step of the journey reinforced the same lesson. Humans could inspire change simply by acting with courage, empathy, and honesty. One evening, as Eli stood on the balcony of Liara's palace, looking out at the twin moons reflecting on the rivers below, he thought back to that simple day at the spaceport on Nova Terra. Sharing half a sandwich with a tired, elegant alien princess had set everything in motion. One small act of kindness had led to interstellar friendship, adventure, and hope. Liara appeared beside him quietly. "You have done well, Eli," she said. "Remember that your actions matter. Even the smallest gesture can ripple across worlds." Eli smiled. "I understand now. Humans have something special even if we don't always see it ourselves, and I want to continue showing that wherever I can." Liara placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "And you will. Together we will show the galaxy what humanity can achieve. And I will stand with you as a friend, as a guide, and as someone who believes in the power of your people." As the stars shimmered above, Eli felt a sense of hope and purpose he had never known. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and challenges, but he knew humans had a role to play. They could inspire, protect, create, and lead, not through conquest or domination, but through empathy, courage, and morality. Eli thought of the spaceport, the shared sandwich, the whispered words, "You're different," and realized how far he had come. One human act, simple and genuine, had led to something extraordinary. And now, humanity's story among the stars was only beginning. The adventure would continue. The galaxy was waiting, and Eli, an ordinary human with extraordinary heart, was ready to face it all. And somewhere in the stars, Liara would remember the human who had shared his meal, who had acted with courage and empathy, and who had shown the galaxy that humans could be heroes in the truest sense.